What's good, everybody? It's your boy, O'Shea Duke Jackson, back at it again with another episode of the Celebrity Junk. I want to talk about, Future in an interview he had with GQ. Now, I've talked about the cover he's on, but I want to talk about something to do with Kevin Samuels. Now, I did a video in which Future said that all the women that he was involved with were actually toxic to him. But he said something very profound because he had a video clip in which he dealt with Kevin Samuels, right? And the video was called Worst Day. And Kevin Samuels was acting as a psychiatrist, and this is what the videographer for the video wanted. Future claims that he didn't know who Kevin Samuels was before that day. And he said that, if he would have knew ahead of time, he would not have selected Kevin Samuels. And the reason why is because, he doesn't want that toxicity on his image. He's already known as a toxic person as it is. Kevin Samuels is known as a toxic person who berates women publicly. So together, it just shows I'm more toxic. So I would not have worked with Kevin Samuels based on that. But I want to talk about, that particular statement, and I can agree it's a business move and he's trying to distance himself from Kevin Samuels now because he has to say that. And shout out to Future for giving him an opportunity, our boy Kevin Samuels. But the reality is this: any man who is either telling women the truth or B, allowing women to make their own decisions is toxic. Don't believe me? Let me tell you something. Let's look at Ciara. Before Ciara got with Future, it was a known fact Future was a whoremonger. Future was not faithful. Future didn't commit to any women. It's a known fact. It's not like this is something that we don't know. Okay? Same thing with Nick Cannon. It's already known. Nick Cannon is not going to marry you. He's going to use you as a person to carry his kids, and then he's going to move on to the next person. Everybody knows that. Okay? It's quite obvious. We know that. Here's the issue. Guess what though? Those women decide that they're going to deal with Future anyway. Okay? It's kind of like going into like a lion's den, and they don't know you, and then they start growling, and somebody bites you. Well, then you're talking about how the lion is toxic. Well, you knew that was his disposition. It was a part of his nature. It's a part of Future's character to do that. But then you go and deal with them anyway. But nobody calls Lori Harvey toxic. Ciara. Nobody calls them toxic yet. Listen to what I'm saying, guys. This is what Future what the women decide to do with Future. They do it anyway, under their own recognizance. They do it because they want to. And whenever one of these chicks gets pregnant and something happens to them, they go to crying on Instagram, talking about how Future won't take care of his kids. They're all doing bad by themselves. He took advantage of them, but everybody and their mama already knew that was the play. So you decide to do that, then all of a sudden Future is a toxic man. We never say, God damn, you're really dumb if you thought that Future was gonna actually love you. No, Future's gonna do what he always was been doing, which is starting it up with women. That's what he does. But you can't tell ladies that, because if you tell them that, it's a big, big, big problem. Secondarily, if you're Kevin Samuels, and let's say for an example, you get to interview Lori Harvey, who complains about Future, which is what Kevin Samuels does every day on the show. He talks to women who complain about their dating situation or other men. He listens to what they have to say. Clearly, many of these ladies are completely delusional, out of touch with reality, demanding something that they cannot produce themselves, and think that God is they're supposed to get those kind of guys. Kevin Samuels is just clearly stating the obvious. Anybody can see that. Even the women themselves, looking at somebody else, can see that, because the thing that they're talking about is the way he says those things. It's the way he says this and says that. But it's clear as day when you listen to those women. If you go to the Average at Best video, it's clear as day that this chick absolutely has nothing. She knows nothing what she's talking about. It is absolutely clear, without a shadow of a doubt. But if you tell a woman, hey, ma'am, you're actually quite ridiculous in what you're talking about right now, guess what? You're automatically looked at as the bad guy. You are toxic because these women made the bad decisions. How dare you tell them, hey, ma'am, maybe you should stop making this decision. If I were you, I wouldn't do that. Then you're toxic. So if women decide to make bad decisions, and if you let them make those decisions, you're toxic. If you tell women that you're making decisions that are bad, they're toxic. And if you associate yourself with people who tell women the truth, you're both toxic. And guess what? I think that men should get to a situation where we just don't care. Because no matter what you do, if you're ever critiquing women, it's always looked at as it's toxic. No matter how nice you say it. Hey, baby, let's say if you have a girlfriend, she's gained weight. Honey, you've gained about 50 pounds in the last 2 years. This is something that's really concerning me. And I really feel like that you need to do something about it to keep our relationship, sexually active and want me to desire you. If a man tells a woman that they want to cancel him, he's body shaming, he's not being sensitive enough, how dare you? No matter how nice you say that, if that's, but let a man get broke. Oh, you ain't got no job, you lazy. How come you ain't taking care of me? It's never toxic if a woman talks like that. And the reason is we're trying to get equality with a group of women that we're never going to get it with. You're never going to get equality. So this is the reason why men should just stop caring what these women think, because it's never going to make sense to them. They're never going to see it our way. It's completely fine. They're never going to see it our way. And if they don't, they just don't see it. It's completely okay. That is the fundamental issue that we are really dealing with here. And I think that, Future trying to distance himself from Kevin Samuels in this interview, bro, the damage has been done. If they thought that you were toxic before, whether you collaborated with Kevin Samuels, your reputation is finished after you had like 10 kids. So don't try to distance yourself now, bro. The word's been out about you for years. If you didn't want women to think that you were toxic, then you shouldn't have 10 different baby mamas, right? But guys, what do you think? It's your boy, O'Shea Duke Jackson, back at it again. Another episode of The Celebrity Junk. Really appreciate you for all that you do. Subscribe, hit the bell. Check out the first comment at the top. And as you know, the buffoonery remains an all-time high. I'm out.